join. Clinic imefunguliwa, my friend. Clinic imefunguliwa. Relationship clinic is now open. We have 2 doctors in the house. I'll be introducing them to you shortly. Singles, mpange laini msisukumane. Today you're talking to singles, and some of the SMSs I'm getting, I'm asking you, what are some of the questions people ask you or the comments people make to you because you're single? This one says, na hii pesa yote, kwani hujaoa? And I'm thinking, okay, let me read some more. Some are quite hilarious. This one says, na hiyo urembo yote, hauna mtu aje. Unajua unazeeka. No one is perfect. Bring your standards lower. Shukisha standards. Yani na hii urembo yote, hakuna mtu amekuona. Maybe your standards are too high. Lower them a bit so that somebody can see you. This one says, they are told, so and so alifanya harusi juzi. Yako tunapanga lini? These comments seem like they're coming from parents. This one says, unataka mzazi alale kabla hajaona wajukuu. This question brings a lot of pressure. I agree, a lot of pressure. Oh my goodness, let me read a couple more and then we can get into our discussion. This one says, mine is utaoa lini, as if it's like going to the supermarket and buying something and going home. Oh yeah, man, that question can annoy. Singles, tell me, what are some of the comments and some of the questions people ask because you are single? This morning, as we ask the question, answer the question, why are you single? Hanging out with 2 amazing people. We have practicing psychologist Luna Odawa. Luna, how are you doing?
Pastor.
Uko mzima kabisa?
Kabisa, labda wewe.
I don't know where to begin with you, whether it is Happy New Year or... It's been a while since I hosted you on the show. It's good to have you back. Karibu
it's been
sana.
a while.
We also have Pastor Obed Musumbi. Pastor, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Pastor.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
What do you think about some of these comments that are coming? Ati hujapata mtu, hujaonwa, na hiyo urembo yote, hujaonwa?
Well, you know, I always say, you know, being single is not how do I put it? It's neither psychological or physical or social challenge. It's part of the rite of passage. The one who is married today was once single.
Yeah.
And I think we keep forgetting that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a state of life, you know, and it depends on the evaluation and the estimation and the quality of life around it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. I agree. Luna, listen to this one. Huyu anasema yeye ushinda anaambiwa, we kaka tu hapo, menopause itakupata tu ukiwa umekaa hapo.
Oh my.
It's almost like they have refused to get married.
Okay, it's not funny, but yeah, it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be very judgmental. Mm-hmm. I know the comments that are coming in can be very judgmental.
Yeah.
And this affects the people who are single as much as they may be comfortable with where they are and who they are, but some of these comments really make them start self-doubting.
Mm. Do you think we're putting?
They are very, very judgmental.
Do you think we put a lot of pressure on those who are single, either whether it is in the family and even in church? You know, in the church I pastor, the singles had to talk to us every sermon near marriage. Na sisi hatujaolewa na hatujaoa, tutafute kanisa zingine tutahudumiwa huko. So Luna, do you think in the family setting and in the church setting we put a lot of pressure on singles?
Yes, knowingly and unknowingly.
Okay.
Sometimes it's from a good place, let me say that. It's from a good place. As Pastor has said, it's a rite of passage. And all of us would want to pass, you know, to the next stage of development as has been prescribed, either developmentally or by society. And so when you feel like you haven't passed that stage, you can actually feel left out. You feel like you don't belong, you don't fit.
Yeah.
So, and as much as some people may just feel, okay, I'm okay here because it's not my doing to be where I am. Yes, some of the things that we say, some of the sermons that we preach can put pressure on people. And even just expectations, whether you say them verbally or not. It's like you're going home and they're like, are you coming with someone?
Yeah.
or yeah, so, or you can come +1. So some of those you're invited and you're told come +1. So you're wondering, so do I come with my brother, my cousin? So who do I come with? So it's just, it's pressure. It's pressure.
Okay. Pastor Albert, can this pressure make you a single person begin to doubt themselves? Kama unaambiwa, na hii urembo yote, I mean, kwani watu wanataka nini? Kwani uonekani? So you just lower your standards a bit. Can it get somebody who's single to that place where you even begin to doubt yourself? That enyewe, si mimi naona tu niko sawa. Why is it that there's no one who's attracted to me? Let me go back to some of the messages because they're still coming in. This one says, somebody asked me last week, na hii COVID, hujapata mtu? How now? Kwani COVID was supposed to bring somebody. Ati na hii COVID yote, hujapata mtu. What kind of a question is that? This one says, hujapata mtu kwa nini? You know, when I read these questions, it puts pressure on you. It's like you are the problem. It's like you're the one who doesn't want to be seen. You're the one who doesn't want to be found. This one says, people tell me to just add a child with just anyone. Even my grandma told me that I'm lying, that hakuna wanaume, ati I just choose. That is a lot of pressure. That is a lot of pressure. I was asking, all these questions, can they begin to make somebody doubt themselves and even maybe develop even a low self-esteem?
Definitely, definitely. Because the problem is, those questions, it is like, in a sense, they are defining who you are and what you need. And that becomes, an external source of defining who you are and your need. And yet, as a person, as a human being, you always know, the most important thing to do in life is to always know who you are inherently and what is your need inherently. And so it may begin to cause you even to reach out to that which is, which is out of season for you. So you begin to make decisions based, and the problem is it can cause you to make those decisions to please the people or to make the people feel like now, this is it. But ultimately the decision is yours, because remember, sometimes you can be put under pressure to marry. And then if things go wrong, the same people will not be there. They will say, what is happening? Why did you rush? You are better off, And so, but secondly, also the whole issue of low self-esteem is very possible. Because, low self-esteem is just, it's a way of, how do I put it? It's a way of feeling like if they are defining that I am not complete without being married, then essentially I am not worth to a certain extent. And when you feel you are not worth to a certain extent, then that causes you to have low self-esteem. Okay.
So Luna, let's jump into what are some of the reasons why people stay single or people are single?
Okay, many reasons. Some of them is let me just start with the simplest, choice. Yeah. Some people have decided this is how they want to live. And it's okay in their mind, it's okay in their heart, but the pressure is still there. So again, just to have you said, yes, it makes them doubt their decision. So some have just decided being single is the best way forward for me. For various reasons. I know some also choose to be single because of the past traumas they have gone through. Maybe they had a very serious heartbreak that caused a lot of trauma. Maybe they lived in an abusive family and they thought, if this is what marriage is all about, I am not ready for this. Maybe they had a past, maybe a sexual abuse that has left them traumatized and they haven't dealt with it. So our past again can make us make a decision not to get involved in marriage. So that can affect how someone moves forward.
I'm just wondering, Luna, based on that which you've said about the past, could somebody find themselves in a situation where, okay, they do desire to get married, but because they have all these things that happened in their past, maybe they haven't dealt with them, these things unknowingly are keeping them away from entering into relationships. Maybe there's like a fear there, or maybe that which happened in the past is still haunting them, but they don't know, and they don't know how to deal with it because they don't know. Is that a possibility?
Very high possibility. Sometimes our past traumas, maybe they happened very early in life.
Okay.
Or even they happened when we were knowing, but we have totally repressed them, suppressed them, that we do not want them to come to our consciousness. And so what it is still in our mind, and so it is controlling or defining our behavior or our paths. And so when we are making decisions, we are not consciously saying, because of my past, I am making this decision.
Yeah.
No. But it has become part of your maybe core beliefs that the marriage is unsafe, people are not to be trusted, such. So they are totally defining who you're becoming and the decisions you're making. So some people will come and they have no idea that this is what is stopping them.
Yeah.
For them, it's just that I don't think marriage is for me, or I don't even know I'm not getting married. I get people and maybe somehow things just don't work out. So they have no idea that that's what is affecting them currently. And so it's very possible that you could have a past that is affecting you presently and you have no idea.
Okay. Pastor Obed, what other reason could you, I know you have forums where you talk to a lot of single people. What other reasons have you come across as to why people are single?
One of the reasons which is really coming out in this season is life goals. I don't know whether you realize in the days of our parents, by 2022, people were getting into marriage.
Yeah.
Or even earlier, by
even
18, 17, people were getting into marriage. But if you look at our age, you find that you go to school, you finish college. By the time you're settling down because of the economic situation, marriage really is not such a priority. Even when you speak to somebody who is in college right now, they're not really thinking about, I'll finish college and the first thing I do is to get married.
Yeah.
They're thinking the first thing I will do is to get a good job and settle, develop. By the time you're settling in your job, the pressure to develop your career also kicks in.
Yes.
So life goals, such that now marriage is no longer a priority for many or most, if not the majority.
Okay. I'm just wondering, Pastor Obed, is it easier or harder to get into a relationship today? Because I'm asking this because when I think back, I can honestly say that for me, the first serious relationship I got into ended up in marriage. I saw a girl, I liked her, I got to know her, and I thought to myself, what am I waiting for? And my mom had told me, and I know she's watching, my mom had told me when I was in college, told me, the way I'm seeing you'll get married early. By 25, I was married, settled, moving on with life. And so sometimes when I hear stories, it's hard to find somebody today, it's hard to get a nice person, I keep wondering, but so you just see somebody, you like them, you connect with them, you get married. What's the big deal? So I'm just wondering, is it harder today to get into a relationship that leads to marriage?
I can't say it is harder, neither can I say it is easier.
Okay.
And allow me just to amplify something Luna has said or has alluded to past experiences. And I just want to use my own testimony.
Yeah.
Because from what you are sharing, it could be your nature was such that, family life was the picture, the patterns and the principles of family life which were painted for you, or the optics of marriage were not prohibitive for you to get into a relationship and ultimately get into marriage.
Yeah.
Now, let me speak from a personal perspective. The way I was brought up, is that I didn't have a good, close relationship with my mom, as much as I was brought up by my grandmother. And that past experience with my mom caused me to put off relationship.
Oh.
The first serious relationship I ever got into was when I was 30.
Wow.
And that was 8 years after getting born again.
Okay.
So the past experiences that I had painted the optics of, first and foremost, women ni kazi. and they are not to be trusted, you know.
Wow.
And as a result, I put off, you know, without consciously or unconsciously, I put off the idea of being in a relationship and subsequently being in marriage. And then it was worse because I was also surrounded by, you know, I was in a setting whereby my aunties were not married as much as they were in their 40s, they were in their 50s, and, you know, they never got married. So the optics of marriage were like, you know, were like, it is not a safe place.
Yeah.
It is not something to aspire to, you know. And so it is harder if you have past experiences. It is harder if, you know, you are dealing with some certain issues. But it is easier if the optics or the patterning of marriage is in a positive way.
Yes.
Is positively affirmed in your life. Yeah.
Luna, I feel like you have something to add to what Obed has just said.
Very, very, very true.
Yes.
There's a lot of expectations have changed.
Yeah.
Let me say that. And I'm speaking from my generation. I think expectations are really, really changed. When I speak to young people, because I interact with them a lot, what they're expecting, I just wonder if it exists. So it's not just a matter of I see a girl, I like her, then we're wondering what next. Oh, they have so much. They want, see if you're not proposing in a certain way and in a certain place, and saying certain words, I mean, you are just off. They will not say yes. Yeah, you're not going to say, oh, we'll just start simple and then we will move on. What do you do? And where are you at? What is your aspiration? So there's so much that they are looking for right now that sometimes delays a marriage. It may not be that it will totally be off, but they delay it because of the expectations they have. And so talking about what Pastor Obed has talked about, yes, the surrounding, how you have been nurtured can really affect the decisions you make. So if you've seen, let's say, the way he has said, aunties, uncles, people who are around you, maybe single and happy, then you're wondering, so what else? Yeah, what else?
Yeah.
Let me also just follow this because this is what has been modeled to me.
Yeah.
So that your nature also really affects the decisions you make about marriage or not.
Okay. Something you've mentioned there, we'll talk about it in a bit, the whole aspect of how things have changed. I find that things are more complicated today. You talked about proposing, you know, and I see people have a photo shoot to propose.
Yes.
They have a videographer to propose. I tell people, me, I never proposed. Never. You can ask my wife. We had a very interesting discussion. And I said, you know, I would want to live alone for a year before we get married. Ndio nione kama ninajiweza. Nisikuite hapa tuoane alafu tena tunahangaika. My friend, it was a setup. A couple of days later, she came and she said, I've found a house somewhere. Let's go check it out. Yeah, that is how we propose to each other. I want to live alone for a year. And she said, oh, you're still in your mother's house. She looked for a house. And we went and saw the house. Hey, I'll never forget. My Wanjiko, I'm telling you, there's none like her on this earth. We went and looked at the house. She made sure I paid. Tukaenda supermarket, akanunua stove na sufuria 3. Na kamatres nikanunua na kitanda. That was the proposal. I lived alone for a year. 1 full year, telling you. And then we got married. We didn't have a photographer. Simplicity. Anyway, if you have questions for us today, 20316 SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Question is, why are you single? We're talking about reasons why people stay single. So Luna, back to you. And what I was alluding to earlier, have also people complicated relationships today? Is there too much demand on how relationships are supposed to play out?
Yes, I must say so. There's a lot out there that is being thrown to us about relationship.
Yeah.
Social media, when we look at it, you can actually get depressed. You'll just think you're not in a working relationship because of what is being put out there. And so many of the young people, again, those are their role models. So when they look at someone who's posted, maybe someone they follow, and this is what they have done, someone who is popular, someone who has more followers, they would want it to turn out that way. And so when it doesn't turn out that way, then it's not working.
Okay.
That's their bigger voice.
Ah, okay. People are sending in some very interesting reasons. Pastor Obed, can you respond to this one? What are your thoughts? Fred from Nairobi says, no one seems to be enjoying marriage. There are more arguments against than for marriage. And so it's a scary subject to oneself, to a lifetime of loveless unions. So, you know, what they're seeing, it doesn't look that encouraging. And so some opt to just watch at Nikazie. What do you say to that, Pastor Obed?
Once again, the optics, you know, what is being patterned, what is being lived out, what is being, what people are seeing, lack of role models, you know, in terms of marriage and family life. And so it becomes an unfortunate space. And permit me just to just use scripture just to emphasize something. In Genesis 2:18, Genesis 2:18, the Bible tells us, now the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone.
Yeah.
And one of the things I realized is that the first definition or the first address about singlehood that we see in scripture was to a man, was not even to a woman. So you find that the whole idea of addressing singlehood, the definitions and the interpretations have moved away from the place of truth. So we find our definitions and interpretations of singlehood and marriage from other sources, from what we are seeing. And we don't go back to ask ourselves, as much as this is not giving me the right picture, is there a place, is it possible that there is a right picture? You see, some of us, it is until we came to the faith, is when we realized marriage is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a grown man, you live all the way up to 30 years and then...
Oh, connection again. Yeah, today is one of those days where things are going helter-skelter, but you know what? All things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. Keep sending in your SMSs as we try and reconnect again. There's one here, maybe we'll touch on this when we get reconnected. It is saying, with the killings going around in Kenya in the name of love, one of them shook me and created real fear in me. And so people are opting to stay single, just like what Pastor Obed is saying. Optics, what you see, what is presented before you, you're looking at it and you're thinking, I wouldn't want to find myself in that kind of a position. And so you choose to keep living your life alone. This one says, very true, Pastor. I've been single again for 8 years. The number of married men who have pursued me for a relationship, it makes me really skeptical about marriage. Pastor Obed, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, today is one of those days.
You I had lost.
It's one of those days where things are all over the place, but we will make it. You were saying something before we were disconnected.
Yes, I was saying it is all about definitions and interpretations. If the optics are already in the negative perspective, the reality is there is a positive perspective, which we can say from a spiritual perspective, it is a true perspective. You know, marriage is a good thing. And like as I was saying, even when you're dealing with the whole issue of singlehood, you begin to realize that the first definition of singlehood and the address of singlehood was to a man, was not even to a woman. And then when God defined it, he said, for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper. That expression, I will make him, means that once God defines what the issue is, then he has a solution for it. And he will make for you. Now, in most cases, we are trying to make for ourselves. You know, as a single person, I want to make for myself the kind right of spouse. If I don't see those, because a lot of singles also have rule books. Rule books which are not in alignment with the word of God, you know. If it's not tall, it's not dark, it's not handsome, if it does not come there from the other side of Uru Highway, Worker X, you know. So you begin to make for yourself and define for yourself what you want. When nothing meets your rule book, then you throw away the book and you say, this thing called marriage cannot work.
Cannot work.
So let me just,
Luna, listen to this comment. This one says, with the killings going around in Kenya in the name of love, one of them shook me and created real fear in me.
Yeah. Real fear, true.
Yeah.
Vicarious trauma, we call it. So it is possible that, yes, the voices that are being amplified
Yeah.
can be more audible to us than actually what we do not know. There are really good marriages around. But I'm not sure that they are amplified as much as the one incident that happens in the name of love.
Yeah.
So yes, it is true that it can cause fear, it can cause trauma, it can give you a negative feel about a marriage. But the truth is, this is just one of the incidences.
Yeah.
There are many, many others that are really actually very fulfilling and working very well. And so if those voices could also be amplified, that would be good. And real ones, authentic ones, not fake ones. Yeah.
Another comment here. This one is saying, a very, very true, Pastor. I've been single again for 8 years, and the number of married men who have pursued me for a relationship makes me very skeptical about marriage. Because you're thinking, oh, sasa niolewe alafu tena huyo nimeoa aanze kutafuta mwingine vile hao wameoa wananitafuta mimi. You know, how do we deal with all these things? Because these things are, I love what you've said, Obed. The optics are messed up and they are affecting how people are looking at relationships and marriage, and people are opting to take a pause. Kuna mwingine hapa amesema, you know, hata amekuwa tu advised, tafuta tu mtu upate mtoto. Life goes on. How do we change this?
I think first and foremost, we need to take those people to Luna, because in my estimation, anybody who is being pursued and is not giving in, or is not even giving in, giving a chance, chances are first and foremost dealing with a certain element of insecurity, could be a lack of self-esteem, could be their rule book is very stuck, but more importantly, could be they have, quote unquote, the fear of competition. Because let's be honest, it is unfortunate that the issue of infidelity has risen even in Christian circles. Yeah. And maybe somebody like that could be just fearing, man, when I get into this thing, there's a chances that I will be number one and there'll be number 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So the fear of competition, which brings about insecurity and which brings about most likely self-esteem, because the other thing would be, if he is going to go out and look for another clan or a side chick, then it means there is something amiss with me. I'm not complete. I'm not total. Yes.
Luna?
Okay, I know the issue of infidelity has risen. That is for a fact. It has risen, and we are hearing of it more. Of course, such news are very sensational, so we hear of them more and more.
Yeah.
And they can create a narrative that marriages don't work, that there are no faithful men out there, and there is no need of getting tied to a man who will just go out and have another. But the truth is, this narrative can only change beginning with me. I cannot expect Percy to start changing the narrative, because he has a way he has chosen to live his life.
Yes. Yes.
So it has to start with me. And so I have to go into it knowing that, yes, this is mine and not so-and-so's marriage. And these things can be different in mine. And when we get into it, and especially for us Christians, we can commit ourselves to commit this issue to God the way we commit other things to God. Yeah. And so when you get into something with some doubt, you're giving room for other thoughts to come in, which will create other behavior. And so it's important to say that, yes, it is happening. Just the same way we say, yes, people are going to school, and yes, people have no jobs. Does it mean that then I don't go to school and then I don't get a job? Yeah.
Very,
so
very true.
I can change the narrative myself.
Very true. This one says, maybe I'm single because I'm a single mom.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, what do you think? Maybe it's from their SMS, it seems like they would desire to be in a relationship, but they're thinking, maybe because I'm a single mom, nani anataka mtu anakuja na mtoto, maybe that's why I'm single. Obed, what would you tell somebody who's thinking along these lines?
Like you have said, there's always a remnant. And there is always a true position. I have some wonderful friends, because I would not wish to mention them on this show, but who I know, just married women who are single.
Yeah.
Or even married men who are widowed and they had children, know. So let them know that it is possible to find that person who will love you for who you are, being a single mom. So let them not fear. So they need to overcome fear.
Yes.
Whatever it is. Yes.
Okay. This one is very interesting, Luna. It says, Kenyan guys are irresponsible, egotistic, and primitive. And they devalue ladies. And people get married for the wrong reasons nowadays, especially money. So, if you have come to the conclusion that Kenyan guys are irresponsible, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to date all the guys in Kenya, so your research has told you all the Kenyan guys are irresponsible, egotistical, and primitive, and they devalue ladies. Seems like she's talking from a past experience, Luna. What would you say?
Yeah, I hear past experience or a narrative that has been formed around her.
Yeah.
Maybe due to that experience or just due to the traumas around the life around her. But the truth is, when you approach life with that kind of mindset, you will find the evidence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Always.
You will always find the evidence. You will meet irresponsible, egoistic, and users. You will meet them if that's where your mindset is.
Yes.
And so if you're not going in expecting to find someone who will value you, someone who will care for you, someone who will love you, you will meet that kind of person. And also that determines how you show up. Pastor, there was a question to you about single moms.
Yeah.
I say single moms are wonderful.
Yes.
But are you showing up in life as a single mom or as a lady? Yeah, how do you show up? Is it the first thing you say, my name is Luna and I'm a single mother? Do I show up with people, like with a badge? Just yes, know me, but I'm also a single mom. Yes, it's good to be proud of who you are because that's part of who you are. But how you show up also will determine how people treat you. So you're first of all an individual, then you are a mother.
Okay.
And so show up in that way too.
Okay. Before we run out of time, what about for those single people who are seriously believing God for a relationship? They have prayed, but nothing has happened. I'm sure, Obed, you've met those kinds of people. I'm sure, Luna, you've also met such kind of people because I interact with them every day, especially now for the ladies. And you're thinking, okay, me nangojea. You're not expecting me to go out there hunting. It's the guy who's supposed to hunt. That's what we've been told. And so I'm just waiting. I'm waiting on God. I have prayed. I've done all these things we are told. Go to social places, don't have too many high standards. I've done all those things. But hey, my friend, there's no one sitting besides me. What do I do? Obed.
Well, let me use the experience of somebody that I will not mention who are in that state. And one of the things they did was to trust God. But secondly, and this, I hope this does not devalue marriage, but in a sense, don't be in a space whereby marriage is a priority.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Live life so that when you enter into marriage, you are already satisfied, you are solid. It is not something that is going to complete you.
Yeah, okay.
Be complete before you get married.
Yeah.
And I've come to realize that once you put on that cloak, once you clothe yourself with that mindset that even without marriage, I am complete, I have value, I am worthy, then you begin to realize marriage becomes that thing which is among those which are added. as much as from a spiritual perspective, we will go in there to tell the story of God.
Luna?
Yes, just to add on to what Pastor has said, honestly, if you're waiting on God, God is faithful. God is faithful. And in his time, I know sometimes we say this and they're like, oh, you don't know because you're already married, you don't know what it means to wait. But the truth is, in his time, he will make all things beautiful.
Okay.
So just wait.
Just wait. Be patient.
Yes. Wait. But don't sit there as though that is all you're waiting for. Yeah, there are many other things that you can do as you wait.
Very, very true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely. Asanteni sana. Quite a number of comments coming in. It seems like a lot of single people are listening in today, just giving reasons, questions they've been asked, and some of the thoughts they have. But I'm glad we were able to address a good number of them. And our time is up for today. Thank you so much, Pastor Obed, and thank you so much, Luna, for availing yourselves for this discussion today. Singles, hii mwezi yote, we will talk about singles. So, atujamaliza ndio tumeanza. Next week, we continue with this discussion. Thank you for your time. My time is up. Have yourselves a great day, and God bless you.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.